Hello, my name is Naser Zenelovic. I'm a police captain with the Rochester Police Department. I've been in law enforcement for 26 years and have served in a number of different roles throughout my career. The majority of my time in police work has been spent in investigations. I was an investigator assigned in the field, a police sergeant assigned to homicide, and several years later, a police lieutenant, again assigned to homicide. I have supervised major cases that included attempted murders, assault shootings, the murder of a Rochester Police Department in performance of its duties, and all of these crimes can be attributed directly to gun violence. Like any other community, gun violence has a significant impact on victims, witnesses, their families, friends, loved ones, as well as uninvolved community members. All of us want to live and work in communities and neighborhoods that are safe, and we, the police, want to protect people, but gun violence makes it difficult. There are a number of studies that show that non-fatal gun use, whether a person is shot at or shot, contributes to a course of control, which can often escalate into chronic and more severe violence. Guns can harm victims even without being shot. With June being Gun Violence Awareness Month, I thought it would reflect back to June 24, 2013, when my brother, a police sergeant with the Rochester Police Department, was shot in the line of duty while trying to apprehend a homicide suspect who's actually wanted in a double homicide. The incident was significant because the violent acts of one individual with a gun senselessly took the lives of two innocent victims and nearly took the life of my brother. My family was blessed that my brother survived, but many families in our communities aren't that fortunate. When I look back to that event, what makes it permanent in my mind and indelible is that my brother was shot right in front of the home that he was raised in and that my parents still own today. It was a difficult notify to let my family know that my brother had been shot, but fortunately he lived, and that's not the case a lot of times. And then, of course, I reflect back to September of 2014 when Officer Darrell Pearson was murdered in the line of duty. Again, chasing an individual armed with a gun, and he senselessly lost his life, leaving behind his wife, two children, loving family, and a department who still to this day is devastated by his loss. In January of 2020, this year, the Rochester Police Department reorganized our investigations into what is now known as patrol section investigations. Our goal with patrol section investigations is to quickly identify trending crime patterns of violence, and find a nexus in hopes of mitigating future violence or future crime. Under the current model, supervisors are required to respond to scenes of all non-fatal shootings and provide a different sort of management that wasn't done previously. We look to increase the investigative effort, focus on quality, reduce errors, and organize investigators to mitigate the repeat offending or repeat victimization and repeat crimes. A greater emphasis is placed on non-fatal shootings across all boundaries, which includes intelligence gathering, identifying crime patterns, and partnering with community groups to help reduce gun violence all across the city. We all know that crime shares no boundary, and that's certainly the case with shootings. And this new model allows for better coordination through a multi-section approach and coordination. The coordination just this year alone, since patrol section investigations has commenced, has been outstanding between the patrol sections and the investigations that have gone on. The coordinated effort has led to the removal of 211 handguns from our streets and 118 long guns. It's a total of 339 firearms that are no longer in the hands of people that have the potential to engage in dispute or other violence. It's a significant number of firearms, and it really is commendable on the part of the Rochester Police Department. It's really unprecedented, the work that's being done. As far as GIVE is a great program that we've had in our department for some time. It allows the Rochester Police Department to partner with a number of local and state agencies to provide additional resources to combat crime. We partner with the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, the Monroe County Sheriff's Department, the New York State Police, Department of Probation, New York State Parole, Pathways to Peace, and SNUG to find and implement ways to mitigate violence that affects our neighborhoods. The work done by our SNUG and Pathways to Peace partners provides coordinated outreach to victims of gun violence and those peripheral targets, and it really sets them up with services that are needed to try to remove them from these violent neighborhoods or violent situations. You know, in closing, I'd like to say, like many others who work in this profession, I would reiterate that gun violence affects everyone, the entire community. The consequences of gun violence are devastating, and they're real, and their prolonged exposure and repeated acts of gun violence destroys families and entire communities. From personal reflections to seeing the permanent harms of gun violence, I would ask anyone watching to find ways within their own lives and within their own communities to mitigate violence and keep guns out of the hands of those who seek to hurt and injure others. Thank you.